The NASCAR Cup Series race has officially concluded from Gateway International Raceway, and we see a lot of chaos, a lot of wild and wacky stuff happen in the Cup race, and we see Kyle Busch pick up his third victory of the 2023 season. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got watching NASCAR Cup Series race from Worldwide Technology Raceway Gateway, the Enjoy Illinois 300. We got a lot to talk about from this race, so let's go to talk about it. So, before the green flag dropped in today's race, a couple drivers had to start at the rear of the field, that being Greg Galding and Eric Jones, who went to the rear for unapproved adjustments. So at the start of the race, he had Kyle Busch lead the field from the inside with Ryan Blaney on the outside, and we saw Ryan Blaney get a really strong start and was able to lead lap 1. But then as they entered lap number 2, Kyle Busch actually was able to clear him, and then we had contact on lap 2 between Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Tyler Reddick, where Tyler Reddick unfortunately sent it way too hard in the corner going to turn number 1 and spun himself out, bringing out the caution. Both drivers were okay, no issues right there, but Tyler Reddick just misjudged the corner and made a mistake. Then we saw Corey LaJoie have major issues where he kind of killed the master switch. Of course, he was substituting for Chase Elliott, who was suspended this week. We'll talk more about Corey LaJoie later, but Corey LaJoie would have issues. But at this time, we would see the lightning come into play. I live in the area, and we had rain and lightning all that kind of hit the area, and we would have almost a 2-hour-long delay because of the lightning hold. And eventually, we got back going with Kyle Busch leading the field from the outside and Ryan Blaney on the inside. And we saw Ryan Blaney try to get the race lead from Kyle Busch. We battled side by side, door to door, and they were trying to eventually lead, but eventually Kyle Busch was able to clear. Meanwhile, Ryan Blaney was eventually trying to catch Kyle Busch to close him down for the race lead, but Ryan Blaney was able to not get by him. As they were coming down, we had Brad Keselowski also having some major issues, brake issues or electrical issues, we're not entirely sure, but he was also slow. But that would not affect Kyle Busch as he come out the final quarter and win stage 1 here at Gateway. All lead lap cars would come down pit row with Michael McDowell, Harrison Burton, and Todd Gilliland taking 2 tires, where everyone else took 4. Meanwhile, Kyle Busch would keep the lead following the subs. Also, Austin Cindric would get penalized for speeding, and Martin Truex Jr. get penalized for removing equipment, which was the gas can. So on the next restart, Kyle Busch lead the field from the outside with Ryan Blaney on the inside, and Kyle Busch was able to clear for the lead. But as they went into turn number 1, we had contact and a caution come out for Ross Chastain, who washed up in the racetrack and turned Michael McDowell going to turn 1 and turn number 2. Chastain just made a little bit of a mistake, but it seems like we go to Gateway and Ross Chastain has contact. It really doesn't matter what type of car. He has contact here and gets into Michael McDowell, spinning him out. McDowell was not happy. That would bring the caution out. Then we saw a little bit of strategy where guys like Kyle Larson, Brad Keselowski, Austin Cindric, and Michael McDowell came in while the rest leaders stayed out. And then the next restart, you had Kyle Busch lead the field from the outside, Ryan Blaney on the inside, and Ryan Blaney got a really strong restart and tried to clear Kyle Busch, and eventually on the next lap was able to pass Kyle Busch for the race lead. Meanwhile, we basically see at this point Carson Osbar, he's having a really strong run and was really moving up to the front and passing for 16th or 17th in a Spire car. But unfortunately, on lap 91, his race would come to an end for a blown right front brake rotor coming down the front stretch. He hit the outside wall and blew it, bringing out the caution. It's a shame, too, because Carson Osbar was actually catching, I believe, Austin Dillon, who was in 15th at the time and was contending for a top 15 spot. This would take him out of contention and fell out of this race. Also, Chase Briscoe, he actually went to the garage during this time because he actually, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, hit the brake rotor from Carson Osbar, so he would go to the garage because of that. So then all leaders would come down pit road with Ryan Blaney winning the race off of pit road with him leading on the outside. He actually took 2 tires. Kyle Larson and Alex Bowman Allmendinger also did that as well. But then on the restart, you had Ryan Blaney lead the field from the outside with Joey Logano on the inside, and Ryan Blaney was able to clear Joey Logano for the race lead, and he started pulling away and had a pretty massive lead and started dominating. And it would not be enough, though, for anyone to catch him. Kyle Busch kept the sacred distance, was at times closing in on Kyle Busch, but it would not be enough for him to close down. And coming off the corner, Ryan Blaney would win stage number 2. Then only lap cars would come down pit road where a couple guys actually took some strategy. Tyler Reddick, Austin Cindric, and Michael McDowell all took 2 tires, while everyone else took 4, and Tyler Reddick will win the race off of pit road. So then on the restart, Tyler Reddick lead the field from the outside, and William Byron on the inside. And William Byron got a really strong restart with 4 tires after a great pit stop. He was able to pass Tyler Reddick for the race lead and continued dominating, started pulling away. But then on lap 173, the next caution would come out for Tyler Reddick, who had a turn 1 wall brake rotor. Unfortunately, the brake rotor failed in his car, similar to Carson Osbar. Hit the outside wall, ending a really strong day and ending his day because he would go to the garage and end his day. Then only lap cars would come down pit road with Kyle Larson, Michael McDowell, and Austin are taking 2 tires while everyone else took 4. Ryan Blaney also had to check up for Michael McDowell, jumped in front of him as well. And we unfortunately had a tire changer that sadly got injured, and wishing the best for that tire changer. We're not sure exactly what happened though. So then, on the next restart, Kyle Larson actually won the race off pit road on the outside with Denny Hamlin on the inside, and Kyle Larson was able to get a really strong restart and was able to clear for the race lead. As Kyle Larson had the lead, though, Kyle Busch eventually, he got a really strong run and got to the lead. And then Noah Gragson, unfortunately, lap 188, as Kyle Busch had the lead, he unfortunately blew another brake rotor and spun and hit the turn 1 outside wall really, really hard, bringing out the caution. And because of the debris, he basically had to go, and basically they called the red flag as how much debris was on the racetrack. Glad to see Noah Gragson okay. Terrible accident, terrible crash. Glad to see he was okay. And then after the red flag happened, we basically see a little strategy where guys like Alex Bowman, Ty Gibbs, Bubba Walls, William Byron, Mark Jr., Ross Chastain all come down pit road while the rest leaders stayed out. So on the next restart, Kyle Busch lead the field from the outside and Kyle Larson on the inside, and Kyle Busch was able to clear for the race lead. Then the next lap, trouble strike for Christopher Bell, who got spun by Austener going into turn number 2. Austener just got loose under Christopher Bell, made a little bit of a mistake, and spun him, bringing out the caution. And I think it was a mistake by Austener, and it's a shame because Bell was making his way back up to the front, had an up and down day, but unfortunately he got spun out, bringing out the caution. So then on the next restart, Kyle Busch lead the field from the outside with Kyle Larson on the inside, and Kyle Larson tried to make a really good run at Kyle Busch, but eventually Kyle Busch is able to clear Larson for the lead. And then on lap 212, Gray Gaulding was stopped to the exit of pit road and bring out the caution. Conveniently, he was able to continue after it. They got everything refired, but he would bring the caution out. So then on the next restart, Kyle Busch lead the field from the outside with Kyle Larson on the inside, and Kyle Busch was eventually able to clear Kyle Larson for the race lead. Then on lap 219, the next caution would come out for contact between Austin Dillon and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. because Austin Center would just straight up dump Austin Dillon going into the corner and spun Austin up into Ricky Stenhouse Jr., bringing out the caution. After the race, Austin Dillon was clearly not happy. He was understandable, but that was completely uncalled for by Austin Center. That's the second time Center had caused a wreck in this race. Just completely uncalled for and completely unacceptable by Austin Center. He should know better. I know he's having one of his better runs of the year so far, but still completely uncalled for and unacceptable by Austin Center. Because of the damage that was suffered from that, they would go ahead and throw the red flag. But after that got done, we go restart with Kyle Busch lead the field from the outside with Kyle Larson on the inside, and Kyle Busch is able to get a really, really strong restart and was able to clear Kyle Larson for the race lead. It looks like Kyle Busch is going to set sail and get the victory, but then with 5 laps to go, the next caution, the final caution race, would come out for Bubba Walls, who unfortunately had a right front brake rotor, very similar to his teammates Tyler Reddick's. He hit the outside wall really, really hard, bringing out the caution. It's a shame because Bubba Wallace was in contention to get another top 10, continues top 10 streak. This ends a top 5 and top 10 streak that Bubba Wallace had. It's a shame. I don't know why the cameras kept following him. Bubba Wallace had a really good day. Unfortunately, didn't end up being good. It's a shame. Bubba Wallace had a great day going. Unfortunately, his day ended due to a broken brake rotor, unfortunately. So then we get to the final restart of the race with Kyle Busch leading the field from the outside and Kyle Larson on the inside. We saw a really good restart from Kyle Busch and was able to clear, and Denny Hamlin actually was able to got passed by Kyle Larson, and they battled for second position for a little bit. Kyle Larson tried to get back around to Denny Hamlin, but would not be enough. As they went to the white flag, Kyle Busch had to lead over Denny Hamlin by about 3 or 4 tenths of a second. And as they came into turn number 3 and off the final corner, Kyle Busch comes off the final corner and picks up his 3rd win of the 2023 season, his 63rd career NASCAR Cup Series victory, and his first win from the pole since 2019. Major congratulations to Kyle Busch. Absolutely well-deserved. He had the best car all day, in my opinion. Sure, there were times where Ryan Blaney was definitely better, but that number 8 car was extremely strong all day. They were fast all weekend. They were really good all day. They kept on the strategy. They were really quick. They were up front. They were faster than Blaney at times, too, and they led the most laps today as well. I think this is the first time that Kyle Busch has kind of dominated a race that he's gone to win with Rich Schultz Racing so far. And it's also really cool to see Kyle Busch win because Randall Burnett is actually his hometown race as well. He's from the Chesterfield area, so a local boy as well. So glad to see a Missouri native win. I'm from the Missouri area, so really got to see Missouri native win. And Kyle Busch, I think, is becoming a championship contender. I know he's been at times inconsistent, but to see Kyle Busch get the victory today is well-deserved and well-earned. Huge congratulations to Kyle Busch on picking up the victory. So now we're going to look at the race results, and I'll give you my score of today's race. So Kyle Busch picks up the victory. Denny Hamlin finishes second. I thought Denny Hamlin was going to win this race. His car was really good all weekend, and Denny Hamlin never really had a race-winning car. He probably had a best, second, or third place car, which is really, really good, and a great comeback after what happened in Charlotte. But unfortunately, didn't have the car to win, but still a fantastic day nonetheless for Denny Hamlin in second. Joey Logano finishes third. A really strong run for Joey Logano. He's been up and down year for him. He won this race last year. Thought Logano was going to be decent this weekend. Had a pretty good car. Great run in third place. Kyle Larson finishes fourth. Hey, as a Larson fan, I'll take, because let's be honest, Kyle Larson was at 1.32nd, almost went a lap down. So for this team to make the right adjustments, make the right strategy calls, and stay in the top five, and stay in second for a lot of that as well, a great day for Kyle Larson in fourth position. Absolutely great comeback day for Larson in fourth place. Mark Truex Jr. finishes fifth. Mark Truex Jr. was the highest up of the guys on those tires. I didn't think Truex was going to get back up to the front, but a great day nonetheless, and a great comeback after his equipment issues that he had. So great, fantastic comeback for Mark Truex Jr. in fifth. Ryan Blaney finished sixth. I think Ryan Blaney had the best car outside of Kyle Busch, probably the second best car all day. He looked really, really good. It seems like they just couldn't keep up with the track and kind of got beat on the late restarts, unfortunately, and that cost them a shot at the win. But still, another really good day for Ryan Blaney, who I believe likely will be the points leader after this race. Daniel Suarez finishes seventh. Good to see Daniel Suarez getting a top 10, his best run in a long time, probably since Circuit Americas, to be honest. It seems like this team had been inconsistent, and they were the strongest trackhouse car today, and they seemed pretty good also in the Coke 600 before they had issues in that race, but still a really good day for Daniel Suarez in seventh. William Byron finishes eighth. A lot of day, he was actually the strongest Hendrick car and led laps in this race. They kind of made a bad strategy car, and the car kind of fell off near the end, but still, nonetheless, another top 10 for William Byron in eighth place. Michael McDowell finishes ninth. Really big credit to Michael McDowell. He actually had 2 tires compared to the guys who had 4 tires and maintained a ninth place position. Great day for Michael McDowell to finish in the top 10. Had a really good car all day long. And Kevin Harvick finishes 10th. Great day for Kevin Harvick, once again carrying SHR's back like he does every single week. I thought Kevin Harvick had a top 5 car, but kind of fell back a little bit as the run went on. But still a great day for Kevin Harvick in 10th place. Christopher Bell finished 11th. Great recovery for Christopher Bell. I thought Bell was going to be a little faster day at times, but still to finish in the top 15. Great run for Christopher Bell in 11th. Chris Buescher finished 12th. Chris Buescher, best he ran all day. This team was getting better as the race went on, considering how bad his teammate ran, bad being Brad, his owner. It's a shame he didn't get a better finish, but nonetheless, not a bad day for Chris Buescher, who really didn't have a lot of experience coming into this race. Austin Cindric finishes 13th, even though he had major issues and got into people in. It's uncalled for what he did on the racetrack. He did run top 10, top 15 all day. Probably his best run since Atlanta, in all honesty, or Coda. So good to see Cindric finish in the top 15, but still has not gotten a top 10 finish since Circuit of the Americas. Got to start picking up the pace on that. AJ Allmendinger finishes 14th, his best run, I think, of the year so far on a consistent basis outside of Coda. I feel like Allmendinger's been up and down so far this year. Has been struggling, thought he'd do a lot better, but he does get a solid top 15 finish in 14th. How about Todd Gilliland finishing 15th? There's a lot of talk about Todd Gilliland's future. It's a little uncertain currently at the moment. So Todd Gilliland having runs like this is really good to see. Glad to see both front row cars finish in the top 15. Justin Haley finishes 16th. Not a bad run for Justin Haley. Good to see both cars finish in the top 20. Ryan Preece gets a solid top 20 finish in 17th place. Solid run for him. Eric Jones gets 18th. Not a bad run for him. Eric Almirola gets top 20 in 19th place. And Ty Gibbs bounces back a little bit to finish in 20th. Corey LaJoie finished 21st. I want to talk about Corey LaJoie. I feel like this is a little bit of a disappointment. I know that Hendrick cars really struggled today. They were not that fast at all, in my honest opinion. But LaJoie just never had it today. I feel, and I think breaks the question of, is LaJoie better than what we're seeing? Because Carson Osbar did run in the top 20 in this race and was impressive. So he had a very disappointing run. Obviously, substituting for Chase Elliott. Could have ran a lot better today. Made a mistake early in this race. Kind of struggled all weekend. I thought he ran a lot better. A really disappointing day for Corey LaJoie. He might not be able to go to a better ride because he probably should have ran better. I know Hendrick struggled this weekend, but you had 2 Hendrick cars finish, I think, in the top 10. So not a great day, in my opinion, for Corey LaJoie. Ross Chastain finished 22nd. Chastain struggled all day, too, in my opinion. He had points, was in the top 10. It looked good early. Car just, they couldn't keep up with the adjustments. I feel like Chastain's been struggling the last 2 weeks and lost the regular season points because of this. They can't make mistakes and keep having bad adjustments if they're going to want to be a contending team. Harrison Burr finished 23rd. He had a better car than where he ran at the end of this. He probably had a top 15 car a lot of race, so a shame for him to finish 23rd. J.G. Ely, another solid top 25 finish in 24th place. Ty Dillon finished 25th. Alex Bowman finished 26th. Bowman ran top 10 quite a bit of the day. Shame he couldn't get a better finish. He finished 26th. BJ Clough finished 27th. Brad Keselowski, who just had a terrible day all around, finished 28th. Greg Gaulding finished 29th. Bubba Wallace, after his issues, he finished 30th. Hey, I want to give credit to Bubba Wallace, too. When he got out of the car, he didn't really get too frustrated with a lot of people. And he had a car that could have gotten the top 10. It's a shame he didn't get the finish he deserved, but they got to look toward the future, and they can't dwell on it. They got to look toward next week at Sonoma and doing the best that they can going forward. Austin Dillon finished 31st. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finished 32nd. Noah Gragson finished 33rd. Chase Briscoe finished 34th. Terrible day for Chase Briscoe, who had some sort of issues. Tyler Reddick finished 35th, and Carson Hocebar finished 36th. I know Hocebar finished last today, but his audition before the brake rotor failures was extremely impressive. For him to be a top 15 car at one point in a Spire car was really impressive to watch. I hope he gets an opportunity to make some more Cup starts in the future with another team because he was really impressive today, and I really enjoyed seeing him out on the racetrack. Maybe Jimmy gives him an opportunity with Legacy. That'd be really cool to watch. But Carson deserves another opportunity running the car. So now, let's talk about the overall race, and I'll give you my score of today's race. Honestly, this is one of the weirdest and strangest NASCAR races I probably have ever watched. From lightning at one point halting this race from 2 hours, to the internet going on, the power going off at a TV stand. We all thought that was a Fox issue. That was unfortunately halting at the racetrack, and I love Gateway, but they got to get that worked on going forward if Gateway is going to continue hosting races long term. To a bunch of red flags. I think there are 3 or 4 red flags in this race. Big accidents, a lot of brake rotor failures. It was absolutely a chaotic race overall. But when we look at the racing itself on the racetrack, outside of that, I thought the racing was decent. It wasn't great. I feel like the Gateway could benefit from the lower downforce package. I feel like the racing in trucks yesterday was pretty good, so I thought today's race would be a little better. I feel like if the track did have those warmer temperatures and not for that storm moving in, I really do believe the race could have been a lot better. But I didn't think it was a terrible race. It could have definitely been better. I'm going to give today's NASCAR Cup Series race overall at Gateway, overall a 6.5 out of 10. I feel like this is one of my least favorite races of the year so far. I didn't hate it by any stretch of imagination, but it was overall could have been a little bit better. But I think that there are some things with this car that needs to be worked on at this racetrack going forward. I think Gateway can produce a good race. And we all saw a really great crowd. Shout out to all the fans that went to the racetrack. But at the end of the day, I got to give this race overall a 6.5 out of 10. So, that is going to today's NASCAR Cup Series race review from Worldwide Technology Raceway Gateway. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel, notifications on so if I win a video, does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Links go below with that, and comment your thoughts below on today's race. What are your thoughts on today's race at Gateway? Let me know below. Let me know your thoughts, comments below, and your scores. And congratulate Kyle Busch on picking up his 3rd victory of 2023. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, we're going to have a NASCAR news video discussing all the news over the last couple of days. We got some big news that came out over the weekend. And also, I will likely have the Xfinity Series race fix dropping on the channel as well. Tuesday, I'm likely going to have a video talking potentially maybe about Hailie Deegan and her future and what she should do because I got to talk about her a little bit. And we got a lot of other content dropping this week that I think you're going to enjoy. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.